My name is Lindsay. I'm with Missouri Enterprise, and we are partnering with Patrick today to put on this webinar for you guys to discuss a little bit about how AI, the artificial intelligence, can kind of impact and what it can have on manufacturing. So today our presenter is Patrick Hogan. He is actually the CEO of Celbridge Science. And so we just want to say through Missouri Enterprise, thank you very much for presenting today and kind of giving us this little tidbit about artificial intelligence. We're excited to see what happens.
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. I look forward to having this opportunity. So first off, I want to thank everybody for taking time to join our webinar. It's a dynamic time in the AI world, and there's a lot of enormous potential to cheaply take advantage of this technology and use it to enhance your business performance and also your personal process and personal success. So as was touched on, I am Patrick Hogan. I'm CEO of Celbridge Science. We're an AI firm. We were recognized in 2022 as a top 5 artificial intelligence and machine learning company. And I'm also an author of Artificial Intelligence and the Transformation of the Global Manufacturer. And so, in thanks for you attending today's webinar, we're going to send a digital copy of this book to everyone. So, wanted to kind of discuss a little bit about what we will be exploring today. And so, one, we'll be talking about the benefits of AI in manufacturing, how it can be to your advantage, how you can take advantage of this process, how you can personally understand the AI process. 2, we can talk about the most common types of AI. So the hope that I have for today is to give you an overall feel for the world of AI. 3 is to give you an AI maturity roadmap. And so this AI maturity roadmap is this vision of a direction for you to follow, both from a business perspective, but also from a personal perspective. AI is a tool that you can leverage to both enhance the performance of the enterprise that you work with, but also to enhance your own personal journey and your own kind of skills. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And the last piece that we'll walk through is kind of best practices for a manufacturing company and how to use AI to harness its benefits. I'm going to ask that if anyone has questions, they put them in the chat. And then at the end of our discussion, I'll walk through any kind of questions that are there. We have a lot of participants today, so it would be easier just to ensure that you put the questions in the chat. I'll drop items in the chat too as we kind of get through this piece. So wasting no more time, we'll just jump right in here. So, the benefits of AI in manufacturing, right? So we'll discuss one, how AI can, in essence, automate your processes, how you can deliver kind of methodology so that you can be the best provider to your customers. You'll be the best supplier to your customers. We'll talk about how AI can be used for product quality, reduce variation to ensure that you're producing the best products possible. And then we'll leverage AI for predictive maintenance. Is the idea of minimizing downtime. A lot of times people will think about AI and say, well, this must be an enormously expensive process to leverage. And, it's something that other bigger entities are doing. But I use the term, and I'll use it consistently today, is that what we want to provide is inexpensive solutions that you can leverage. And as AI matures, there's opportunities that you can, inexpensively take advantage of all these things that are out there and do it in a way that allows you to kind of take advantage of the AI curve, but also be, kind of aware of the benefits and the shortcomings of each aspect of AI. And so that's the intent for today, to kind of give you that knowledge and awareness. So Before we get too deep in here, well, I did want to spend a little time and talk a little bit about what the common types of AI. So, in essence, to give you kind of a taxonomy, a understanding of these pieces, and the best way also to phrase this is this idea that uh, there are lots of different types and it's kind of a family, right? So it's a tree. If you think about this thing, there's AI, there's machine learning, there's different aspects, and these are all part of what you might call data science. It's the methodology to use a computer to think like a person, to produce results like a person. So going into this, what we'll first talk about is the idea of machine learning. And machine learning is a statistical tool to explore data. And so that's a lot of what people are taking advantage of today. And some of you may think, well, I'm not involved that much in AI, but every day when you use your phone, every day if you decide to use, a TV service like Netflix, AI is being applied to machine learning is being applied to your activities. When you have a selection criteria and it's recommending things that movies that you might like, they're actually creating a selection criteria. If you're on Amazon and you're buying some goods or services, that is actually, again, they're using machine learning to identify what you're purchasing and what you're taking advantage of, and so that they can make suggestions to you. Machine learning is kind of broken into many different parts, and there's discussions on things like neural networks and deep learning, and that concept is just simply about trying to continue to make the process more sophisticated. The reality is data science, machine learning has been around for many, many years, 60 plus years. Some of you may have heard of Alan Turing, the gentleman who broke the German code during World War II. And in some respect, he used machine learning to be able to understand how the code, in essence, the secret codes that were part of the German communication, so that he could identify, his team could identify the pathways. So machine learning is not something that is kind of brand new. And so we've been at that process. I mentioned I've been in this space for 30 years. We've been kind of evolving, right? With the concept of using different tools to build competencies to do that, to build competencies to leverage and acquire data. The next piece is called natural language processing. In essence, NLP. Now, NLP is really very important because in some respects, there's two things to add here is that data is sometimes broken into two distinct categorizations. You might have a categorization of structured data, and that is any data that may be in a table. If you have customer data that exists in a format that you can export or import, but you also have things that are called unstructured data. Those are notes, potentially just Word documents where you might be order forms, things like that. NLP allows you to take that unstructured data, those notes, and turn it into structured data to be able to apply intelligence to be able to find information for. So natural language processing is both about structured and unstructured data, but also it's about recognition, voice recognition, all different types of services along that line. So we'll talk about that as we migrate through the process. But again, the way I would ask you to consider it is that data science is an overall field. AI is part of that field. Machine learning is kind of a subset of AI that delivers that. NLP is, again, a subset of that process too. So, and also in addition, there's things called computer vision. Now, computer vision is the idea of detecting anomalies and quality control. It's the idea of the ability to detect a difference in size. So you can use computer vision to, monitor production, to understand, do I have any deviation in expected delivery or expected piece? And then the last one that, would want to spend a few minutes chatting about is RPA, robotic process automation. And I'm sure many of you have probably played around with this or using certain pieces, bots and different items, but it's digitizing the work process. There's enormous amounts of what you might call RPA available, and we'll actually talk through some, both in terms of opportunities to take advantage of RPA and, in essence, natural language processing as simple solutions that you can use immediately for very low dollars. So again, going to this piece, what hope to point out is that in AI, in the world of data science, there is the concept of machine learning, there's the concept of uh, NLP, natural language processing, the component of computer vision, and then robotic process automation. And in essence, that's your toolkit. Those are the items that you can use to leverage for success in the manufacturing space. So let's talk a little bit. We talked a little bit about the process of AI, and now we're going to discuss a little bit of a maturity model. And I'd ask, as you think about this, this is an opportunity to apply a AI maturity model both to your business, but also to yourself. Right? The idea here is there's an advantage of understanding kind of where you are in the journey process. One of the things that I'll be putting through in the chat is something called ChatGPT. And ChatGPT is an application that allows you to inquire and ask questions to, in essence, a tool that will give you answers, whether that be, tell me about a particular event, tell me about how to program, how to do many different tasks. And then also we'll walk through kind of tools that you can use where you can do the same process, asking questions of data that we'll illustrate in terms of it'll be your own data so that you can communicate that piece. So going forward here, what we want to talk about here on the AI maturity model is, in essence, this step process of kind of, on the top level is strategy and sponsorship. And so if you're interested in using AI for your business and yourself, you really need to understand kind of your strategy, what you're hoping to drive to that, and ensure that you're encouraging those around you to take advantage of that. And so in many organizations, it's a CEO and board activity, and others it's just individuals who are accountable and are willing to take the action. In the process, we call a little bit about understanding your data and where we call a platform, but where do you want to house the information that you're querying, you're building this model. And so understanding that, then the idea here is talent and training and building competencies in this process. And it's very easy to build competency in essence, AI. It is just kind of investing time to understand it. And then best of all, there's what you might want to understand is AI governance, is terms of how do you choose what projects to work on? How are you making decisions on where to invest your time and efforts in the process? Below is a little bit of the step process that organizations and individuals follow to achieve AI competency. And so in essence, that starts out in a stage called initial, right? And so in this process, you're just getting used to AI. Potentially today is the first step. And so you're understanding what AI is, you're understanding a strategic plan. You may not have one, but you want to create one. Now, the second process is step 2, is experimentation. And experimentation, like I talked about, is the idea of exploring the potential of AI. Where might be a value for you to use AI in your business, whether it's simply to automate the process of writing customer letters, the idea of interacting in terms of knowing the choices that your customer are making for orders, understanding your quality ratios. So identify potential use cases. Then the process is what we call piloting. And piloting is just simply executing something, testing and evaluate the effectiveness of your analysis. We do this every day. When you try some new task, you kind of make the decision, you experiment with the process, and you execute it, right? The best way to learn how to swim is to swim. The best way to learn how to use AI is to pilot a project, pilot an activity, use something like ChatGPT, do something that is stretching your understanding of the process. The next step in that maturity model is scaling. Now, in this essence, it's broadening the reach and the insight that you're collecting, right? So AI solutions have been piloted, and now you're scaling it. You're letting other people see the information, and then your organization and yourself is investing in its ability to take advantage of that. The next two steps are you optimize, and giving you example, we talked through this concept of using in essence AI to identify quality. Worked a project with Purina where they make, of course, dog food, and what one of the projects they wanted to do was identify what kind of AI could feed them information about their cutting tools in terms of keeping the sharper their cutting tools, the finer the collection of the product would be. And so ensuring that they attained that level of performance was something that we could create a forecasting model for. And so in essence, that type of optimization of how do I take advantage of this piece? It could be the idea of having visibility into your sales file and sales chain. And so again, I'll share examples of the optimization process. And the last place is transformation. And that's kind of embracing AI as core of your strategic process and using it to change the way you do business. The idea is changing the way that you might approach customers, changing the way you may do marketing, changing the way you, in essence, deliver value to your customers. And in that instance, one of the things that I would encourage you is that sharing that you're on an AI journey is very important to your customer base. It illustrates that you are taking advantage of the tools that are around you to provide a better product for your customers. And that's always a welcome piece of work. As a business owner or as a business member, you recognize that it's fantastic to be able to share with your customers and also your people that you work with. Hey, we're trying to make the business better. So let's roll in some opportunities with AI. And AI is just a continuation. I know as kind of also a sci-fi individual who loves those different shows, AI has gotten a little bit of a bad rap. I mean, in no way are we in a position where AI can be used to replicate completely the way people think. The idea is we're on an evolutionary journey, and our opportunity right now is to use AI to make our processes, our tasks, our lives better. And so whether it's in the manufacturing process or the medical field, it is incredibly valuable for us to take advantage of this idea of transformation. Give you an example of a transformational project that's outside of manufacturing. We're working with a medical organization who is digitizing kind of in essence glass slides of biopsies and resections so that they can apply machine learning to cancer images, and they can identify the way the cancer grows. And so machine learning in essence can apply AI to this process and be able to identify this is the type of certain type of cancer, and this is the type of cancer. This is how it grows, so you have a better vision of how to treat it. Again, we touched on the opportunities in the manufacturing place in terms of using it for ensuring machines don't go down or improve quality, but it really is a tool in your toolbox that helps you. On the opposite side, this journey is the same journey that you'll want to undertake as an individual. If today is one of your first kind of initial forays into the AI world, you may want to, now that you know, well, I understand now that machine learning is part of AI. I understand that deep learning is a continuation process of the AI journey. I understand, in terms of what NLP is, I understand these aspects, and hopefully it encourages you to realize this is a wonderful world to explore, both for yourself, for your family, and for the future. And so it's what I hope you all will get from this is this maturity model, and you'll all get a copy of this presentation, can be applied both to your business, but also to yourself personally to kind of envision the journey that you'll be taking. So we talked a lot about a journey. So the question that you may all have, well, where do I start, right? What's the pathway that I start? And so I'll walk you through a little bit of a roadmap to success. And so in essence, you want to start with a business problem. You want to clearly identify and understand the problem and build a business case. What you'll hear in this space or in the AI and technology space is a use case, an example of an opportunity to address a problem. I want to automate my emails. I want to enhance the dispatch process. I want to digitize paperwork. You want to identify a problem. You want to understand and identify the focus of what you want to achieve, right? I want to reduce operational inefficiencies. I want to uncover insights from large amounts of data. So the idea here is you want to clearly have a vision of what you want to accomplish. Some of our clients use this to identify buying habits of their customer. What do they buy? What's their discount? How much opportunity do I have in the pricing model that I might be able to take advantage of? So understanding that vision of what you want to accomplish is critical. The second step is you want to collect data on this. And so, as we all know, data is all around us. And so you have data in your ERP system, you have data in your potential CRM, you have all of this information, and you want to be able to mine that data. And so you want to identify the data sources so that you can take advantage of it, whether it be customer information, business operations, financial data. And then you want to evaluate the quality of your data. Right? Because if you're going to be making decisions on this data, you want to ensure that you're making the right call based upon the information you have. We've all heard the phrase, right? Garbage in, garbage out. And so you want to make sure that if you're going to be making important decisions, that you have some level of what's called data hygiene, the idea of ensuring that your data is as valuable to you as it can be. The next also place is determine if you have enough data to train an AI model. So if you're going into the sophistication of saying, hey, I actually want to build an AI model on identifying, the right when to do maintenance, when to do these pieces, just making sure that you have enough historical data so that you can make an accurate forecast and vision of that piece. Continuing on, our third step is you want to choose the right model and technology. And that choice depends upon the complexity of your problem, and the availability of the data, and also the expertise within your organization. A lot of organizations are doing analysis and they are calling it AI, and they're in the nascent stage, and that's fine. Remember, this journey is about you getting competency in the piece. And so therefore, the AI journey from the nascency stage to the expert stage is a pathway. And so you can start out in this pathway by just choosing a project that is, scheduling in terms of staff scheduling, in terms of equipment downtime, all of these pieces. It doesn't have to be the most elaborate problem to solve. It just needs to be a problem that you have the right model and the right technology to solve. And so as we get into the next piece, we'll talk a little bit about a lot of the tools that are available to allow you to do visualization of data and to mine your data. And so that's important. The next piece is also implementing and integrating the AI model. So if you're going to create a model and you're going to train the data, how are you going to interface it into your existing system and workflows? What will be the implementation phase to do that? How will you maintain the model? Any data set that you build, whether it's simple or sophisticated, it's not kind of one time build then walk away. It needs to be an iterative process where you're adjusting your model to get the results you want, and also ensuring that as you bring AI into your business, that you're using cross-functional efforts to involve many parts of the business from IT to HR to operations. Again, AI is just a tool. There is a lot of people who are afraid of AI is going to take my job away. It's going to it's going to be a negative growth for us. But truly, it is a tool that you can leverage to perform more effectively in your business. And again, it's a tool that you can use to immediately communicate with your customer base and your supplier base that I'm really serious about being a better business person and providing better products to our customers. And so that is a great message to send. And the last piece here is, creating and monitoring and evaluating the performance. After you've instituted AI, you want to understand, how did it go? The trial and error process is a good methodology, right? It's not set and forget. It's continuing to build competency. And as you become more data centric with your enterprise and yourself personally, it's a great opportunity to build on your competencies and evaluate, am I gaining the right piece? A competency, a roadmap could be to use, what I'll be putting in the chat GPT, just to help children, grandchildren out, to help yourself out with doing tasks. But the idea of evolving on the path. In this discussion, I've talked a lot about there's an opportunity to utilize tools in a very inexpensive way. And that's important, because a lot of people will come to you and be like, oh, you need all of these kind of feature functionalities, all these tools, all these capabilities. And the reality is that's not necessary to really pilot and utilize AI to enhance your business. What I always recommend is choose a simple solution. And that concept is, what would be possible if you could analyze your operations and your financial data in seconds by simply typing in questions. With NLP, there's lots of tools. We have a tool in the market that allows you to simply type in a question and source any data set, so you can get insights in an instant. The concept there is, you can engage your employees, you can empower your sales team, you can optimize your business model, you can transform your profitability by building capabilities and analytic and in transformation pieces and reinventing your processes for pennies. Our particular solution costs less than a cup of coffee a day for a person. So the idea here is, there is no reason that you need to invest in enormous solutions and sophisticated applications. The more expensive it is, doesn't mean that it's better. It's just, the opportunity for organizations to leverage certain capabilities. So simple, cost-efficient tools that you can use and take advantage of to effectively collect information and make decisions. I'll give you an example of this kind of model here. Is a solution like Tableau. Many of you may have heard it. There's lots of different solutions out there that that are available, and Tableau is one of them, an analytic tool. But one of the items on Tableau, as an example, don't mean to be, you could use it for any pieces. It is a great solution, but it is difficult to use. It's costly to implement, and you need a trained analyst to produce a report. And so one of the things that I always recommend is that you utilize tools that are, in essence, cost effective and something that you can quickly leverage to enhance the performance of your business. And so it's not always necessary for individuals to invest in the most expensive platforms that are available. There's a platform called Snowflake, and Snowflake is an analytic tool or a platform that individuals use to collect information and data. But in many respects, again, it's a wonderful tool, but it's something that people sometimes rush off and say, I need to invest in this environment and have this tool and have the most cutting edge piece. And without a real useful use case or a real sophistication, it's not necessary. So again, going into this process, I'll give you an example of our AI answer solution set. It's in essence a ability to leverage information and to get type in a simple question and get the data that you need. I'll actually just give a quick example of what that would look like in terms of our dashboard. And so in our AI answer program, which is really very, very inexpensive, the opportunity is to be collecting information that is beneficial for your business, that gives you your, for example, people use it for sales opportunities, gives you your leads, your pipeline. We have organizations who project these to kind of a TV, so that it can be actually updating every day, real life, refreshed, and kind of a consistent process. Illustrating this point is the concept that, again, you can take advantage of AI tools without enormous investments in capital and in enormous investments in training. The potential for you is, how do you take advantage of these tools and leverage them and engage them in your business in a way that will be most effective for your enterprise. Another example, which I talked about, is a tool called ChatGPT. And so in this solution set, you can actually simply ask any question that you wish, and it will provide you an answer in terms of whether it's a cause, in terms of understanding a particular problem, understanding code, whatever the case may be. ChatGPT is free, and so a lot of organizations use it for sales related activities, or the opportunity to write memos and write different processes. So this idea here is leveraging AI so that it can be a powerful tool for you in a way that enhances your business. And so again, some coders use this in essence to ensure that their code is proper or clean. Other enterprises use it for all different types of pieces. So I'll pop this into into our chat so that you can understand that and take advantage of these opportunities. So again, the concept of AI does not have to be that you will be leveraging the most expensive solution available. You can leverage AI for, in essence, hardly anything. And so that's the opportunity that's available to you, and encourage you to take advantage of that pathway and that process. As we continue on, I want to give you kind of some final thoughts in the process. And my apologies, I know I pushed through a lot of information at you, but the concept that we want to make sure that you're aware of is this idea that AI is a democratizing tool that can actually create and allow you to understand and leverage data more efficiently for your enterprise. And therefore, also, it's a tool that you can use immediately to start driving value for your enterprise. When you chat with, again, your customers and your suppliers, it's always good to have a reason to chat with a customer and say, hey, we're introducing this to enhance our quality, to enhance our speed of performance. A great message. So going through some final thoughts in the process. One, I encourage you all to look at this idea of, how do I take AI on a small project and use it as a stepping stone to harness our ability to perform our business more effectively. And so it doesn't have to be a giant project. The smaller, the better. Second is, you want to start by gaining experiences and gradually scaling AI so that you are learning how it's valuable to your enterprise, how you can take advantage of that piece. And so it's critical both for a personal perspective and a business perspective that you begin the journey in a very, in essence, some respect, baby steps. It's not necessary for you to contract out a cloud environment if you don't have one. It's not necessary for you to buy the latest and the greatest of tools that are available to you. By taking a mature and gradual approach, you can build the competency into your organization. You can bring up the skills of your team, and you can also, for yourself, understand the values of AI for your business and for your personal growth. So I did walk through a tremendous amount of points, and what I'll do now is maybe just address any questions that were put through on the chat side. So please continue if something strikes you, if you have a question on chat. So let's just see if we have anything that is open. Okay, and so a great question that just came up is, do you have any experience using Salesforce and AI? And so in essence, I illustrated a example of a document in terms of a pipeline. Salesforce has an enormous amounts of tools and they have a phenomenal database. So if you're taking advantage of Salesforce, and Salesforce isn't the only CRM out there, there's lots of other different ones, is that data set can be leveraged to understand your kind of, in essence, pipeline and your opportunities. And so it is a great tool to be able to, again, understand where your business is. Also, a lot of, we've done a project for a company named Motorola, and Motorola wanted to introduce something called CPQ with kind of an AI component. And CPQ is configure, price, and quote. And that concept is they're using Salesforce and a CPQ tool to be able to provide their sales force in a complicated sales environment the overall understanding of how should I put together a deal in this environment. And so Salesforce has a number of great tools, but again, it's not the only tool out there that is available to you to take advantage of in relating to that piece. And so kind of continuing down on the path. That's a good question. Is is it possible to unlearn what might have been learned before? So the reality is, we talked a little bit about pilots, right? And so the concept is your AI is taking advantage of the information that you supply it. If you supply it with information that is not correct. Again, I gave an illustration of ChatGPT. ChatGPT is free, but the reality is you also have to recognize, just as you do with any other source of information, that you need to ensure that it's validated, right? That it's correct. And so AI, if you build a model and you never change that model, we talked a little bit about that, the need back to our process here of being you can't set it and forget it. And so, Ned, it's a great question. You need to be able to take advantage of these models, but also evolve the models. Because if you allow an existing model just to continue on, it's just, again, going to be spouting information that isn't valuable to you. So hopefully that addresses your question. Another question is transparency. and ethical considerations use of AI. Now, one of the things that AI can do, right, is because it is a process that once you set up the parameters of it, it can actually identify modalities or methodologies. Many of you probably have guessed, I'm not a spring chicken. Sometimes when I go into interactions with other AI companies, I feel like I'm hanging around with my children because you have 20-year-olds. A lot of the people on our team are the same age as my oldest children. And so the idea here is that AI can be used as kind of, in essence, a negative tool. And so it's very, very important that you are transparent with what the model does, how it's built, and then the ethical use of AI. In your process, through your careers, through your involvement with AI, you'll hear a term that sometimes people use. It's called, it's a black box. If someone tells you that a solution is designed on a black box, they're in essence telling you that they don't want to share with you the parameters of how the information is digested and then spun back out to you. And so I always encourage people to understand, and the purpose of this call is to recognize that AI is not something that is to be feared, something that is new, something that is just come about. AI has been around for 60 plus years. The idea of machine learning and the evolution of AI, and it's going to be around for a lot longer. And the more you can engage with it, the more you can feel comfortable with it, the more you can claim or call out fallacies or concerns with that process. So again, I would encourage you to recognize that AI, like all data, can be used in a bad way. And so it's important that you understand it and you apply rational thinking to the process. It's a great question. There was also a question, besides learning from YouTube on ChatGPT, where do you recommend training on it? The reality with ChatGPT is the best way to get comfortable with it is just to play with it. A lot of times people, in my mind, the best way sometimes to learn an activity is to explore a topic that you feel comfortable with. I'm a big fan of baseball. So one of the reasons I went into analytics is because I played baseball and used to love to be saying every hit was, this is 3 points on my batting average, this is 2 points on my batting average, got all the way to playing minor league ball, and then when you're batting zero, another strikeout doesn't seem to move your batting average. So it comes to a fact that all the statistical knowledge can't help you if you can't hit a curveball. But the idea here on ChatGPT is really encourage you first to explore topics that you feel some level of comfort in: history, business, sports, anything, any activity that you feel that you have a fairly good grasp on and understand the information on. And so the idea with this process is to continue to take advantage of the tools. There's also tutorials in the process, and there's many different pieces to do that. There are very inexpensive books if you really want to start taking advantage of ChatGPT just to automate processes in a cheap way. And so that is very, very critical in that process. So I think that responds there. And so another question that Ned, thanks Ned for the question, is there a difference between BI and AI? And that information is business intelligence in many respects. It depends upon the sophistication level of the business intelligence. A business intelligence could just be a raw output of your ERP. And in essence, it's you ask, how many sales closed in that month? What was the value of this? What was the value of this transaction? And so in many respects, it's what you might call tactical, right? In terms of that piece. A business intelligence, if it's strategic, again, could be leveraging AI to provide that capability. And again, as we've evolved into this understanding, right, you are recognizing now that AI represents, or machine learning, which is a component of AI, is in many respects what you may have done in Excel if you've ever put together a forecast and you've used drivers, right? Last year's turnover versus this year's turnover, or the year prior, consistently, volume of customers, volume of value. That in essence are drivers, right? That are allowing you to understand the information and to give context to the information. So in many respects, BI, right, could just simply be the context of sales last year, this year, and a forecast, where AI might actually have other attributes associated with it. If you have a product that is related to weather, if you have something of that piece, that might be able to interpret information that a BI solution doesn't have access to. So very good. And again, Cognos was given as an example, and Cognos is taking a lot of information that is compiled within its records, its an action structured data, and then it's coming up with information. So in many respects, that is the beginning stages of what you call machine learning. If AI is getting a technology to perform as a human mind would, the idea of machine learning is that process of taking information and whether it's going to be in kind of the format of neural networks or all these different deep learning, it's the idea of evolving that piece. A terminology, if you don't mind, that I didn't talk about, and you may hear the concept of it is AI sometimes is discussed into three branches, which is kind of weak AI. And so, yeah, that's a term. So it's AI that is, they call it weak AI. And that's what you might see if you use kind of Amazon Alexa or different Google applications. It responds to specific questions in a very tight pattern. General AI, and those are tasks more that a human can deliver to and evolve. And so it's thinking, its ability to extract information and use kind of causality to come up with that. And then in essence, there is the idea of kind of that future state of AI, which is having it think just like a human. And the reality is we're still kind of mired in a world that's really between, weak AI and general AI. And the idea of general AI and in essence strong AI, which is again the movies that we see, we're not there yet. And again, that's the place where people have fear. ChatGPT as an example. It's a learning application, but the idea is to understand that perspective. So one, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to have presented these pieces to for all those involved. I'll be sending my book to you all in a digital format, and I hope that it'll be valuable to you. My hope in this process is that you had embarked on a journey, and that journey is about understanding AI and allowing it to add value to your lives. And that's, if that's what we accomplished today, that's a good win. So before wrapping up, any final questions?
I just want to say thank you so much, Patrick. This was, I think, a really great learning experience for myself, I think. But I think this was great to hear about, and we really appreciate you presenting to us today and sharing this information. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Lindsay. And so also we'll be sending out a PDF of the presentation, and clearly my email will be there. If you have questions that weren't answered, feel free to communicate those to me. And again, all I can say is thank you for the team to allowing me to present, and Lindsay, very, very much appreciated. And I very much appreciate Stacy's involvement in the process. To any of you who haven't taken advantage of it, Stacy and Lindsay are phenomenal assets. They are great partners to have, and I'm very lucky to have been part of it, kind of asking for assistance and guidance, and they always deliver. So thank you all.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Everybody have a great day, and thanks for attending.
Thank you. Cheers.